Guardian Games 2021 is about to end, and today the closing ceremony begins. But what is the closing ceremony for the Guardian Games? We've only had one Guardian Games before, back in 2020, and we didn't have a closing ceremony for that event. Bungie has some maintenance planned before the closing ceremony is unveiled, so something is going to be added to the game which Bungie wanted to keep under wraps due to the timing of the update. Well, today I'm going to have a look at what the closing ceremony could be, plus discuss some theories during the maintenance window. Well, if you're new around here or find this useful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. Well, the closing ceremony had been marked on the Season of the Chosen roadmap since the start of the season, and the expectations are that the winning class, I think that's either going to be Hunters or Warlocks, they're going to be presented with the trophy, perhaps in front of an audience with a celebration in the tower. So last year, Titans won the event and we had a really small statue given to us, and that ended up sitting next to Zavala all year long. We didn't have a closing ceremony last time, and there's a few theories out there as to what could go down. But before we get into the detail of that, let me know down in the comments what you think is going to happen during the Guardian Games closing ceremony. One really interesting thing to note is there's a big maintenance window been added to the middle of the day, which isn't entirely normal. So usually we'd be offline for about 15 minutes, but today Trials has been delayed slightly due to this maintenance. So Bungie said yesterday on Twitter that May the 7th at 9 AM PDT, which is 4 PM UTC, Destiny 2 will undergo maintenance in preparation for update 3.2.0, and players are going to be removed from activities at 9:45 AM, and that's 4:45 UTC, and will be unable to log in until 2 PM or 9 PM UTC. So just over 4 hours is an interesting amount of time to be offline, and Bungie say it's in preparation for update 3.2.0, which is the release of Season of the Splicer on Tuesday the 11th of May. However, I think there could be a little bit more going on here, and we do have a few options, and without further delay, I'll go into them now. Well, first of all, Keitel could present us with the Hammer of Proving, and that could be a new exotic. So the overarching story of the season has been the ceasefire with the Cabal, and Keitel turned up at the start of the season, asked us to join the Cabal, and Zavala emphatically said no. So in the middle of the season, there was an assassination attempt on Zavala by a rogue Scion, and later another after Keitel's and Zavala's champions went one-on-one in the depths of the Cabal tank on Nessus. Keitel apologised and then body slammed the Scion to death, although there could be a rogue contingent of Scions out there looking for revenge. So one theory for the closing ceremony is that we invite the Cabal to the tower to celebrate our newly formed ceasefire, and there's hope in the community that will be presented with the Hammer of Proving to keep and wield as an exotic power weapon. So I really would love this to be true, but both elements of this theory sound pretty wild. Having the Cabal turn up in the last city would be pretty interesting, given that the original tower is being rebuilt from the Red War against the Cabal, plus there's the surface damage near where Zavala stands from a piece of the Almighty, basically a Cabal Death Star, and we shot that out of the sky with the help of Rasputin in the middle of last year. And that was during the last live event that we had in the tower. But let me know down in the comments, do you think Keitel is going to give us that hammer, or do you think it's just wishful thinking? Well, next up, we could have a live event with the Vex blocking out the sun. So before this week, we didn't know what the story was going to be for next season, and given we now know more about Season of the Splicer, and the setup being the Vex somehow blocking out the sun, it's feasible that the Vex could be involved in the closing ceremony somehow. You could imagine the tower being all dressed up and ready to celebrate the end of the Guardian Games, and then the Vex crash it right at the last moment and plunge the last city into darkness. From a narrative point of view, this makes sense, but I am unsure about the timing element though. 4 days is a long time for an event, and normally Bungie tend to summarise the season story in the opening cutscene. So last time we had a live event, it was for the Traveller healing itself in the tower, and that did take a number of hours, and that was in the build-up to the Beyond Light drop. Again, let me know in the comments, do you think the Vex are going to be involved, or do you think this is going to be more of a cutscene type narrative? And finally, we just could have a regular closing ceremony for the Guardian Games, and it could be that we don't get the Hammer of Proving from Keitel, the Cabal don't visit us in the tower, and the Vex don't block out the sun. It could just be that the main characters from the season assemble in the tower. So we've got Zavala, Saladin, Osiris, Crow, Amanda Holiday, and they could all just celebrate the winning class and simply present the trophy. You know, maybe Crow finally takes Amanda out for that drink, as they've been talking about this in the Battlegrounds dialogue. Well, the reason I don't think this is going to happen is A, the maintenance window goes on for a long time, so I do think that Bungie is adding something significant to the game, and B, this is too close to the end of the season for it not to be linked into the narrative of the next. So Bungie have previously said that they want a single evolving world, and it does make sense to tie up this season's story and lead into the next season. Well, last year the trophy Titans got was really small, and everyone kind of had a bit of a laugh about it. And there had been a talk of a statue of Cade 6 if Hunters win. I do think it's going to be more likely the class emblem, which is probably the bird for the Warlocks or the snake for the Hunters. But what do you think is going to happen, and have I missed any popular theories here? Let me know down in the comments what you think is going to go down in the Guardian Games closing ceremony. Well, personally, I think the Cabal are probably going to come to the tower to celebrate. It would be the perfect culmination of the season's storyline, which has been really strong this season, fleshing out the Cabal and giving them much more personality through Keitel and her interactions with the Vanguard. So if the Cabal do come to the tower, there's some really interesting symbolism there, with the Cabal stepping through the ruins of the last city, the place where the Red War went down. So Zavala was nearly assassinated by a Scion in the gardens of the last city in the middle of the season, plus it'll be interesting to see Lord Saladin's reaction to the situation. So he's been really gung-ho this season about completely eliminating the Cabal, and perhaps he may take matters into his own hands. So I'd seriously love to get my hands on the Hammer of Proving as an exotic power weapon. That would be the ultimate ending to the season, but sadly I'm not sure that is going to happen. But hopefully I will be proved wrong, and there's no pun intended there. But well, let me know down in the comments what you think is going to happen during the closing ceremony of the Guardian Games. And as always, thank you so much for watching. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. If you want to join the community, check out the Discord link in the description, or you can follow me on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Thanks again. See you soon.
This morning, for the first time in humanity's long and storied history, the sun did not rise. It's a Vex simulation that has plunged the city into an endless night. Osiris and I could only think of one we might turn to. Mithrax. He claims to be among the last sacred splicers, those with the power to commune with machines. Find him, Guardian, before the Vex do.
We must splice an entrance to the Vex network. I can guide you, but I cannot follow. Once inside, you must find your own way.